$65,964. That is the average price of a new full-size pickup truck in America right now, according to Kelley Blue Book. Not a luxury car, a truck. And a decent used one, 3 or 4 years old, still runs $30,000 to $45,000. Now hold that number in your head, because in the 10 Tennessee towns I'm about to show you, that money does not buy the truck. It buys the house. Real towns with courthouse squares, river landings, and strawberry festivals, where a standing 3-bedroom home is listed right now for $35,000, and where the typical house costs less than half the Tennessee average. One of these towns sits on a lake that has held the world record for smallmouth bass since 1955. Another is about to have a multi-billion-dollar Ford plant for a neighbor. And number 1 has a home listed for less than $20,000. Today, 10 Tennessee towns where a paid-off home costs less than a used truck. By the end of this video, half of you will be defending your truck in the comments. Good. Bring numbers. Let's take a look. Number 10. Savannah, the Tennessee river town where history and catfish share the same bank. Savannah is the seat of Hardin County, down in the southwest corner of the state, and homes here run about half the Tennessee average. I will give you the exact figure in a moment. The town sits right on the Tennessee River, 10 minutes from Shiloh National Military Park and just upstream from Pickwick Lake, some of the best fishing water in the South. They are serious enough about it here to hold an annual catfish derby, and the Tennessee River Museum sits downtown to keep the river stories straight. Main Street runs toward the water past old homes under big trees, and Hardin Medical Center is right in town, which matters more than any of it. Older in-town homes list well below the typical value, and here is the math that changes everything. Own one outright, and in a state with no income tax and some of the lowest property taxes in America, your fixed costs run maybe $250 a month. One thing to know going in: Riverfront and anything near Pickwick carries tourist pricing, so the bargains are in the neighborhoods, not on the water, and summer brings boat traffic and crowds. My take: Savannah is the most complete town on this list. It is also the most expensive, at a typical value around $171,000. Every town from here on gets cheaper. And number 9 smells like strawberries. Number 9, Humboldt, the strawberry capital of West Tennessee. Humboldt sits in Gibson County, 20 minutes north of Jackson. And every May since 1934, it has thrown the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. A parade, a carnival, and half the county on Main Street. The rest of the year, it is a quiet railroad and factory town of about 8,000 people, with early 20th century cottages on shaded lots and a downtown anchored by an old-fashioned candy shop in a former bank building. The typical value here lands mid-list, but that is not the story. Here is the story. There are 18 homes listed under $100,000 in Humboldt right now. 18. In one small town. Fixer 3 bedrooms within walking distance of the pharmacy, 2-bedroom cottages with fenced yards and storage buildings. Inventory like that vanished from most of America 15 years ago. Buy one at $75, put $15 into it, and you own a $90,000 home for about the price of a new crew cab. The catch: Humboldt is a working town, not a postcard. Some blocks are rough around the edges, and you will want to walk the street before you buy the house. But Jackson's hospitals and big box stores are 20 minutes down the highway. Zillow's typical value: about $154,000. Number 8 is the town Hollywood made famous with a big stick. Number 8. Selmer, walking tall country. Selmer is the seat of McNairy County, and if that name rings a bell, it is because Sheriff Buford Pusser cleaned up this county in the 60s with a hickory stick, and Hollywood turned the story into walking tall. His museum is 10 minutes up the road in Adamsville, and Highway 45 through town is now called the Rockabilly Highway, painted with murals for the music that grew up along it. Selmer itself is a county seat with wide streets, homes on generous lots, and in-town listings that dip well below the typical value. Own one of those outright, and your monthly fixed costs run about what a single truck payment runs, except yours ends. Now the hard part, stated plainly. McNairy County lost its hospital years ago. The nearest full hospitals are about 30 to 40 minutes away, in Corinth, Mississippi, or up in Jackson. That drive would bother me personally, so I will not pretend otherwise. But if your health allows it, Selmer gives you a real county seat town with a courthouse, a grocery, a hardware store, and church suppers at a genuine discount for that one missing piece. Zillow's typical value, about $149,000. Number 7 has the River Tennessee, forgot. Number 7, Bolivar, the courthouse town on the Hatchie. Bolivar is the seat of Hardeman County, and its square is the real article. An 1860s brick courthouse, law offices, and storefronts wrapped in some of the oldest homes in West Tennessee. The Hatchie River slides past town, and here is what makes it special. It is the last major river of its kind in the lower Mississippi Valley, still running wild. Never straightened, never channelized. 100 miles of cypress and oxbows full of ducks and catfish. The under 100,000 inventory here is real. 900 square foot fixers from the 1930s, 2-bedroom cottages near Market Street. And unlike most towns this size, Bolivar has a hospital in town. Do the truck math on a $90,000 cottage. That is 2 used half-tons, except this one shelters you, grows your tomatoes, and pays you back when you sell. Now the trade. Hardeman is one of the poorer counties in Tennessee. The job market is thin, and some streets show it. You are buying the square, the river, and the price, not a boom economy. For a retiree or a remote worker, I think Bolivar is the sleeper on this list. Zillow's typical value, $135,500, up 7% this year. Number 6 is barely a dot on the map. On purpose. Number 6, Maury City, a cotton crossroads in the county named for Davy Crockett. Maury City is a farm town of a few hundred souls in Crockett County, out in the flat, black dirt cottonland between Jackson and the Mississippi River. I tried to find something famous about Maury City to tell you. I could not. That is the review, and it is a 5-star one because nothing famous means nothing priced in. A grain elevator, a couple of churches, a diner where the farmers hold court at 6 in the morning, and quiet streets where smaller homes list far below the town's typical value. No tourist premium, no lake premium, no history premium. Just a house, a yard big enough for a garden, and neighbors who wave from the tractor. The catch is the same as the appeal. There are almost no services in town, and you will drive about 25 minutes to Jackson for the hospital and the big stores. If that drive sounds like a burden, skip this one. If it sounds like a small price for total peace, Maury City might be the purest bargain here. Typical value, about $117,000, and it sets up the pattern for the whole second half. Because here is the pattern. None of these towns lost their charm. They lost their industry, the cotton gins, the rail stops, the river trade, and the prices never learned big city habits. That is not decline. That is a discount, waiting for someone whose paycheck does not depend on the local mill. If that is how you think about money, subscribe, because the second half of this list is where the prices stop making sense. Number 5, Saltillo, the river town time forgot. Saltillo sits on the Tennessee River in northern Hardin County, a village of a few hundred people that was once a busy steamboat landing. The river was Main Street here. Then the boats stopped coming, the ferry era ended, and Saltillo simply went quiet. What is left is astonishing for the price. A river town within 20 minutes of Savannah's hospital and under an hour of Pickwick's tailwaters, some of the best catfish water in America. Picture a metal roof drumming in an April rain, a John boat on a trailer in the side yard, and the biggest decision of the day being, which bank gets your line? And here is the sentence I never thought I would write. There are pickup trucks sitting on dealer lots right now wearing a higher sticker price than the typical house in Saltillo. Full honesty. This is a hamlet. No supermarket, no clinic, and river bottoms mean you check the flood maps before you buy. Stay up on the high ground. But if the river is the whole point, nothing on this list touches it at this price. Zillow's typical value, about $105,000, the cheapest typical value on this entire list. Number 4 is the loudest quiet town in Tennessee. Number 4, Halls, the little town that trained the bomber boys. Halls sits in Lauderdale County, cotton country, and during World War II, the fields outside town roared. The Dyersburg Army Air Base was actually here at Halls, where thousands of B-17 crews trained before shipping out over Europe. The old base lives on as the Veterans Museum, one of the best small military museums in the South, with the runways still stretched across the fields. The town itself is a few blocks of brick storefronts, a water tower, and quiet streets, with in-town listings regularly landing well under 6 figures. Yes, this is a step up in typical value from Saltillo. And here is what the step buys back: an actual grocery store, a bank, a school, and Dyersburg's hospital and Walmart 15 minutes up the road. Own a home here outright, and your annual property tax bill will likely cost less than 1 year of truck insurance. And that points at something people get wrong about places like this. Towns like Halls are not dying, they are paid off. The catch: it is genuinely sleepy, the kind of town where the big event is Friday night's game, and the county around it is among the state's poorest. My take: for the veteran or the history reader, there is no better fit on this list. Zillow's typical value, about $140,000. Number 3 is the one I would bet money on. Number 3, Brownsville, the town where Tina Turner grew up and Ford is about to move in. Brownsville is the seat of Haywood County in the Hatchie River Delta, about an hour northeast of Memphis. The music history is real. Tina Turner was raised just up the road in Nutbush, and her one-room schoolhouse now stands restored at the Delta Heritage Center in town, drawing visitors from all over the world. On the way in, you will pass the Minefield, a towering steel sculpture one local artist has been welding for decades. Now the money story. There are 18 homes listed under $100,000 in Brownsville right now, starting around $50,000. And about 12 miles down the road, Ford is building Blue Oval City, a multi-billion-dollar electric truck plant, one of the largest factory projects in American history. Towns this close to that kind of payroll do not stay this cheap. So here is my prediction, on the record. I give these prices 3 years, tops. Screenshot this and come back to tell me I was wrong. Or right. What gives me pause? The county hospital closed years ago, so Jackson is about 30 minutes for care, and construction booms bring traffic and change before they bring polish. Zillow's typical value today, about $132,000. If you have stayed to number 3, you are the kind of person who runs the numbers before a big move. Subscribe, because the last 2 towns are the reason this video exists. Number 2, Ripley, the town where the title of this video stops being a figure of speech. As of this recording, there is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house listed in Ripley for $35,000. When I first found that listing, I assumed it was a typo. It is not. I checked twice. Now read it against the hook. A used full-size pickup runs $30,000 to $45,000. So this house costs less than most of the used trucks on the lot, and barely half of one average new one. Ripley is the seat of Lauderdale County, about an hour north of Memphis on Highway 51, and it is no ghost town. There is a Walmart, a hospital right in town, Lauderdale Community, a courthouse square, and every summer, the Lauderdale County Tomato Festival, because this bottomland grows the best tomatoes in the state, and the town knows it. The broader market backs the story too. Zillow's typical value here is $132,300, up 6% this year. rising, mind you, off a base that low. Buy that $35,000 house, put 20 into the roof and the kitchen, and you own a home outright for 55, with property taxes and insurance around $200 a month. Against the average Social Security check of $2,082, the house is handled by breakfast on the third of the month. The catch, plainly, a $35,000 house needs work and a careful inspection, and Lauderdale County is poor. This is unpolished, deep West Tennessee. But a paid-off home, a hospital in town, and tomatoes like these, that is a real retirement. So what on earth beats it? A lake does. Number 1, Celina, the lake town where a home lists for less than a fishing boat. Celina is the seat of Clay County, tucked into the hills of the upper Cumberland, where the Obey River meets the Cumberland, hard against the Kentucky line. And a few minutes north of town lies the reason this is number 1, Dale Hollow Lake. 27,000 acres of water so clear it looks borrowed from Canada, ringed by wooded bluffs with almost no private shoreline development. And it has held the world record for smallmouth bass since 1955. 70 years. Nobody on earth has caught a bigger one anywhere, and fishermen cross oceans to try. If you fish, I will say it plainly, and you can fight me on this. This water beats the famous names. The town at the doorstep of all that is one of the cheapest in Tennessee. As of this recording, home listings in Celina start at $19,900. That is not a typo either. And no, that particular house is not move-in ready. At that price, you're buying bones and a lot. But livable in-town homes here list for less than the average used pickup, in a town with a courthouse square, a grocery, and a marina culture that runs on crappie, houseboats, and homemade pie. Picture it. Coffee on a porch in the hills, the lake 5 minutes away, and your entire housing cost roughly the price of the bass boat you now have money left over to buy. Now the honest conversation, because Celina demands one. Clay County is remote. The hospital here closed in 2019, so it's about 25 minutes to Livingston or 45 to Cookeville for care. The roads in are winding, the winters are quiet, and the jobs are scarce. This is not a town for everyone. It is a town for the person who has been promising themselves a lake for 40 years. Quiet, cheap, and sitting on world record water. That is why it is number 1. So why is this possible in Tennessee, a state people are moving into? 3 forces. First, the industry left these particular towns decades ago. The river trade, the cotton gins, the rail shops, and prices never learned big city habits. Second, the carrying costs are among the lowest in America. Tennessee has no state income tax at all, and property taxes near the bottom of the national table, so a paid-off home stays nearly free to keep. And third, the arbitrage. The Nashville boom pulled buyers and money toward the middle of the state and left the edges alone. You are not buying decline. You are buying the parts of a winning state that the winners drove past. Whether you are truck shopping, house shopping, or just tired of being told you missed your chance, I hope this list proves the math is still out there. Those are 10 Tennessee towns where a paid-off home costs less than a used truck, and in 2 of them, less than the trade-in. Now, the comments. First, which one would you actually move to? Second, and be honest, $35,000. The house in Ripley or the truck in your driveway? And if you think I got number 1 wrong, make your case. I read everyone. Subscribe, because I find towns like these every single week. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.